Hey everybody! For today's activity, we are making our own loom out of cardboard. Now I know I said cereal boxes earlier, and I'm so happy that a lot of you have found some. And the reason why we pushed for cereal boxes is because they're convenient and a lot of people have them. However, most of them are pretty flimsy, especially for what we're wanting for a loom. Some cereal brands have thicker cardboard for their boxes, and that is great. Maybe you have found one of those. But if you're able to, save yourself some trouble and time and use thick, sturdy cardboard if you have any. However, if a thinner cereal box is all that you have, that's okay. I'm going to show you some tips to make your cardboard more sturdy later on in this video. However, no matter what kind of cardboard you have, you can watch the first few minutes of this video to get you started. For today, you'll need your cardboard box, a ruler, a pair of scissors, something to make your measurement marks, and some tape. First, you're going to cut out your cardboard box, and you want to make sure that you cut along the seams or folds. Don't destroy your box because we're going to use other parts of the cardboard later. If you have a thinner cereal box like me, it's important that you cut out both the front cover and the back cover because we're actually going to combine them later to make the box or your loom thicker. If you already have a piece of thicker cardboard, you can save that other side for a future loom. Make sure to save those extra pieces for later. Wow, see how flimsy those are? Boo. Okay. Next, you want to make sure that your cardboard measures 12 inches by 6 inches. My box was about 12.5 by 10, so I'm going to cut it down quite a bit. If your cardboard was not as long as 12, that's okay, but perhaps you'll make it wider than 6 inches. Now, if you're using a box with a cover, you don't want that on the side where you are going to weave, so go ahead and label that back as a reminder. After that, measure a line that measures 1/2 of an inch away from both of your short edges. I always make a mark on each end and then 1 or 2 in between to make sure that my line is straight and I don't risk it being crooked. Make sure that you do that for both sides. For the next step, you want to make sure you know where your 1/4 of an inch mark is on your ruler. And always make sure that you start at 0 and not the edge of your ruler. So, in between the edge of your loom and your 1/2 inch line that you just drew, make a mark for every 1/4 of an inch and repeat all the way across on both sides. I decided on 1/4 of an inch based on the 6-inch width of my loom. That's going to give me 24 warp strings, which is nice because that number can be divided easily by several other numbers, which will be handy for experimenting in your weaving techniques. Make sure that you cut all the way to that 1/2 inch mark and repeat on the opposite side. Now at this point, if you have a sturdy piece of cardboard and it's not flimsy like this one, you are ready to dress your loom. If you have a thin piece of cardboard, keep on watching for some tips on how to make it more sturdy. What you want to do is take that other piece of cardboard and cut it down to match your first piece. However, you don't need to include the 1/2 inch tabs on the end, okay? That's going to be tough to get those lines lined up and cut exactly. So now you want to get some tape and secure it. Kind of wrap it around and connect them together. And after I did that, I saw that it was still kind of flimsy. So I had the idea to take some pencils and tape them on the outside edges to hold my cardboard straight. And then I went ahead and started on my warps. Have your bunch of yarn handy and just tape it on the back. You just need a little bit of tape. And I started to warp. Notice how it goes to the back. However, you don't have to flip it over every time. You do want to make sure that you're not pulling too tight, but you do want them pretty firm. You don't want them too tight, nor do you want them too loose. So I continued on, and then I realized that my loom was starting to bend. So at this point, I decided to go back and add more pencils so that they went all the way across the long edge and not just in the middle. And I did that on both sides. So before you start to dress your loom, make sure that you have a frame that goes on the outside edges. And continue on with your warp strings. That seems to be a bit better. And then I cut my string and secured that loose end with a piece of tape on the back. Now, you do want your loom to lay as flat as possible, so I decided to get yet another pencil and attach it sort of like a ladder on a rung. Now, basically what I'm doing with the pencils here is creating a frame to make sure that my loom lays nice and flat. I would have added more pencils if I had more laying around. Now you are ready to start weaving.